Hi there, you're listening to Unnatural Selection, the show about newsy type stuff and things. My name is George.
My name is Tom.
And my name is Adam.
And with our powers combined, we are the full force of Unnatural Selection. Make sure you visit us at our salubrious home on the web, unnaturalshow.com. It's a show about news and politics that occasionally strays from being darkly comedic to occasionally sometimes just comedic.
Only sometimes.
Or dark. Just dark.
Or just dark. Sometimes, a lot of times it stays in
yeah.
dark. Yeah.
Yeah, just dark. Just sometimes we just stare into our monitors and just disassociate for a minute.
Yeah, we
It's
don't have
like,
the rights to Hello Darkness, my old friend, but just imagine that in your own head as the camera sort of slowly pulls away from us, staring vacantly into the void.
Yeah, we're all Ben Affleck.
Yeah, we're all that gif of Ben Affleck smoking a cigarette out the back of the Batman shoot.
Oh, I met Hello Darkness, my old friend, as he leaves his body while Henry Cavill defends Batman v Superman in an interview.
Oh, yes.
It's like...
Yeah, there's lots of Ben Affleck vacant stare memes now that I think about it. The government has shut down in the United States. Here's our funny story for the week. Is the government's shutting down? Ha 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 ha.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Boys.
The start of October, when the government either sometimes might shut down or does.
It's government shutdown period. Pour some out for your boys.
I'd say
I only have a snifter of shutdown before Christmas.
You might say, oh, this sounds familiar. Like, this has happened before. Surely it'll be fine. Well, George, why is this time different?
We turn to our senior USA expert, George, to give us the lowdown on why this shutdown, again, is completely necessary and absolutely needs to happen, just like all the other shutdowns that were threatened and happened prior to this. So basically, the government, so there's two different things that we talk about. There's the government shutdown, right, which is generally based on the United States Congress's ability to pass funding bills for the year. So these are either what they call clean bills, clean resolutions, where, in theory, both sides of politics get together and agree on what the funding is going to be for the year ahead and then approve that funding. And negotiations happen in good faith and then everyone agrees. Now,
I take it that's never happened.
That's not really happening much as of late because ever since, probably sort of pre-Obama, the Republicans have turned into a bunch of recalcitrant psychos. But that's what's generally supposed to happen is because you need a supermajority, you need 60 seats in the Senate to actually pass it. You, as a rule, unless you've got a supermajority in both houses with one particular party, which is pretty unlikely, you're going to have to do some negotiating to get that clean bill through. Now, what's been happening in recent years is they do these things called continuing resolutions, CRs. And those are basically just, we take what we were doing last year and we just add a little bit for inflation and we just keep doing what we were doing before. And that's kind of been the state of play for the last, sort of 10, 15 years. There's been clean bills every now and then, but mostly it's been these continuing resolutions, just kick the can down the road and we'll worry about it later. Now, this is completely separate to the debt limit, which is a different fight altogether, which is where basically this is where they put the money on the credit card and the debt limit is when they decide whether or not to increase the limit on the credit card to make sure that they can pay for the things that they've already bought now during this period. So there's two different processes there where at each of those points they could conceivably shut the government down. And in prior years, basically the Democrats would be like, we don't want to hurt people. We don't like government shutdown. We're good governance. We're good. We're the responsible people. We'll cave and just, give the Republicans what they want in order to get our continuing resolution. It's generally the Republicans and particularly the people in the Tea Party caucus, that's kind of like far right sort of budget hawk guys that were most responsible in the last 10, 15 years for shutting the government down because,
playing hardball.
Yeah, playing hardball. Whatever the government wants, it's too much money and we want to reduce the amount of money, right?
Just playing hardball with people's lives.
With people's
livelihoods. What fun.
Yeah, cool and normal. Now, this is the first time that in recent memory, as far as I know, that the Democrats have been the ones that are sort of holding the balance. Well, not even the balance of power. They have the handful of votes that the Republicans need in order to pass this this continuing resolution, and they're refusing to do it. So, and in exchange, what they're saying is, okay, well, you've made like they're asking for a couple of things. The main one is healthcare. So the Obamacare subsidies that would subsidize people's private insurance are expiring this year, and the Republicans are taking that out, and they're saying we're not renewing that. And basically, what that's going to do is cause like a fiscal insurance healthcare crisis in the United States, where up to 17 million people could potentially lose their insurance or have the cost of their insurance effectively double because those subsidies make up a good amount. Like that's the whole thing that Obamacare is predicated on, is we subsidize your insurance. The insurance company gets massive new pools of customers to defray the risk of all these additional customers that they have to take on, but they're obliged to cover pre-existing conditions. So they can't kick you off your insurance because you've got cancer. So it's meant to be, it's initially started out as Romney's plan. it was called, Romney Care in his state when he was governor in wherever it was, Michigan, back in the day. So it's essentially a private subsidy for the insurance companies. You guys get a bunch more money, but we get to insure more people, and that's kind of the trade-off. So it's kind of like a free market solution. Anyway, when it became nationalized with Obamacare, they put all these subsidies in, but like with all measures that are fiscal in the American system, there's a cliff in which it drops off after 10 years. So this is the point where you would renew it because everyone loves this program. The people who most use the Obamacare program are people in red states who can't afford their own private health insurance that are not on the Obamacare exchanges. And the Democrats are saying, okay, well, we don't want, because the thing is, if 17 million people, if the cost of their insurance doubles and say half of those people drop off their healthcare, it's going to make healthcare for everyone more expensive because then there's fewer people to defray the risk of the people that have health insurance. So it's like this, in a cost of living crisis, to double the cost of people's insurance, which is already incredibly expensive in America, as we know, can go into the thousands of dollars a year, is a fight that the Democrats are willing to, it's a hill that they're willing to die on. And they've also got some other things in there. What?
Sorry, this just in. The Democrats have a hill that they're willing to die on.
As it turns out.
The Democrats have a non-negotiable thing that they're willing to like hardball and play dirty to get.
Well, yeah. So Chuck Schumer famously.
Are we talking about the same Democrats?
Yes, no, the very same.
Are we talking about the same Democrats that just put on like some vague like African dress and took a knee when like the country was burning?
Yes, the very same. The ones that put on the the caftans after George Floyd. Yes. So it's okay. So where how do we approach this? So they're wanting to kick up a fuss about this. They last sort of had a continuing resolution dispute in March, and Chuck Schumer famously came out and said, if we go into emergency mode, the Trump administration is going to get all this extra authority to do an even more sort of draconian sort of takeover, and we don't want to do that, so we're just going to participate in this continuing resolution. And yes, we're going to lose something, even though, because it wasn't a clean continuing resolution, it was like, we're going to continue the things we like, and some of the things you like are going to get cut to the Democrats. And they're like, well, this doesn't really seem like a continuing resolution. They're like, too bad, so sad. We're the Republicans, go suck eggs. So, and Chuck Schumer took a lot of shit for that at the time. He went on Ezra Klein's podcast and did like this full like hour and a half long explainer as to like why it was a good idea, and it was the least bad option of the bad options. And basically everyone was real pissed at him. Like people talking about AOC maybe primering Chuck Schumer at the next in the next election cycle and taking his place as senator. There's a lot of argy-bargy about it. So this time around, they've gone, people are going to get real pissed off if we just agree with the Republicans on this. So we have to fight. And I think now they've had the messaging, the time to come up with the messaging discipline, the rationale, find an issue that all Democrats can kind of band together on, something that's worked for us in the past. Like when in Trump's first term, they were trying to get rid of the Affordable Health Care Act in its entirety. And, they were able to stage a bunch of like sit-ins and protests and things like that and able to successfully sort of win that issue in 2018. So they thought, let's make that the issue this time around. And it's probably more salient because the Republicans actually are threatening healthcare of American citizens this time around. It's more salient than it was in 2018 when it was kind of more of a sort of manufactured issue.
It was a hypothetical, right?
It was a hypothetical, yeah. I mean, they did try and vote on it, and there was that famous scene of like what's his name, prior presidential candidate, Republican guy, John McCain, where he sort of like thumbs down the bill and it didn't get passed. But that like failed on its own merits, not because of anything.
Yeah.
Like the Democrats put pressure on it, but they weren't part of the vote. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So they're choosing healthcare as the fight. And the other thing is the rescissions and impoundment and things like that, where basically this is so boring. I'm boring myself. So the executive is basically saying, oh, hey, all this money.
Adam checked out ages ago.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Adam's still at the pub from last night.
So basically, the Trump administration is doing this thing called impoundment, where they say, hey, all these projects that you guys like, even though Congress has funded them and passed bills and all that sort of stuff, we're just going to keep the money. And so the Democrats are saying, well, obviously you can't ask us to support a continuing resolution if you guys can just take the money that we give to things and give it to other things, right? So there's a few things that they're sort of insisting on as part of this shutdown. And so far it seems to be working. I mean, Democrats are just kind of pussies though. And I just don't think that they're going to... It is shut down. Right. But like...
Right.
That's bad.
And that is bad.
Let's skip there.
And Trump has basically, come through on his promise.
Pinned this on the Democrats.
Yeah, they're trying to pin it on the Democrats. And JD Vance is coming out saying insane shit like, oh, it's because Democrats want to, give healthcare to trans prisoners or something like that. It's like, that's not part of it, JD. Like, we're talking about private healthcare subsidies. Like it's really obviously got nothing to do with that Yale graduate JD Vance. So it's the government's shut down. A bunch of essential services are being shut down. People like, who work at the TSA, the, security screenings at airports and stuff, right? They're obliged to work because they're essential personnel, but they're just not getting paid. So you can see how things could deteriorate pretty quickly in a situation like this. The Office of Office of Management and Budget, the OMB, this is the area that Russell Vogt is part of, the head of Project 2025, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
That's the role that he now holds in the administration. Basically, they're saying, okay, well, great. Well, then we have authority to fire tens of thousands of workers permanently, not lay them off, not put them on furlough where they're sort of waiting to come back to work. Now we've got emergency authority. We're going to start mass firings, basically, of the government. And this is what they were sort of worried about the first time around in March. That's why they were reluctant to go down this path. But it's like, you can't expect the Democrats to go along with it. This is the one piece of leverage that they hold. This is the one chance they have to like get something out of the Trump administration before the midterms if they win back the House. So it's like it's just like people just want to see Democrats fighting, and this is what they want to see, right? So you can't really expect them to capitulate without getting anything for it. Yeah, it's pretty concerning because it means, Trump's like taking some pause on like some Hudson River massive infrastructure project in New York. That's like $18 billion or something that they're pausing. So they're finding Democratic states where federal money is going and just finding excuses to pause that money to make sure, just to punish Democratic states. It's so like
crazy how blatant all that is, right? Like, I mean, it's crazy how blatant that sort of process is. You don't really see that, at least not that I can immediately recall. Like here, for example, like we have
left states versus right states and like fighting it out. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't recall like even Scott Morrison or anyone like that. Like, yes, they did like the favorable things of like the car parks crap in their districts.
But that was all about marginal districts. That was all about marginal districts, which were all over the place, right?
Yeah,
the
it wasn't like
they
they didn't just like fucking stick the boot into Labour electorates,
or at least not implicitly. They didn't do it loudly. An analysis afterwards found, turns out they're spending a lot more money in their own districts or in marginal districts than they are in Labour districts. But that's like de rigueur in politics, is like spreading the money amongst your friends more. But this is different. This is like, hey, you stay, leftists,
you don't get a bridge.
Democrats are fucking me over, and so I'm going to punish New Yorkers. Like that's fucking crazy for an American president.
You don't get a bridge because the Democrats are fucking me over.
And of course, they're blaming the Democrats, which is hilarious because the Republicans hold all the levers of power in Washington, and it's like somehow the Democrats are somehow the biggest pussies and also like Antifa super soldiers. In the minds of Republicans, they're also the weakest pieces of shit, and also the strongest, most insidious, sort of communist army we've ever faced at the same time.
The terrorists, George. Now the terrorists,
allegedly, yes. So, every federal agency basically during this process is required to develop a contingency plan, in the event of a government shutdown. And there's some things that they can do, like pull money forward and, take the spending and remittances that they're getting from taxpayers throughout the year as business as usual operations funding. And there's things that they can do to kind of keep some of these agencies going. But that's only if the government, the administration is inclined to keep the government going. And it kind of feels like the Republican administration is kind of keen to kill the administrative state. So I really don't know what's going to happen.
I guess if one thing we know about the Republicans in recent years and also since Trump's second term began is they choose chaos every time.
Yeah. Yes.
So you're not playing with a rational actor. But I think the thing that's very funny, a lot of the late night comedians and stuff have been pointing this out of how the double standard that the Republicans have on the government shutdown, where they'll talk about how bad this is, despite the amount of times they've threatened the government shutdowns. But was it Speaker Mike Johnson, Mr. Mike, I spy on my own son's porn usage, Johnson.
It's not spying, Tom. It's loving care.
Right. No, sorry. It's consensual.
Fatherly
spying.
concern.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. There's no power imbalance between father and son. No, not at all.
I too, as a teenage child, would have loved to have received notifications on my phone to know when my father was whacking it. For accountability.
So he's been talking about how this the current shutdown, this is terrible. It's this is going to affect funding for I forget the agency's name, FEMA. I want to say FEMA is the one for natural disaster relief,
disaster
stuff
response.
Like that. Yeah. He's just it's gonna impact FEMA, and we've got it's hurricane season. Hurricanes are about to maybe hit the country. This is terrible when you can jump cut to all the
smash
time.
Cutter, the Daily Show fucking editors don't even need to try anymore. They're just we've got all this shit on file. FEMA. Remember from fucking 6 months ago when they cut the FEMA budget and put it into fucking invading Chicago or whatever?
Or where they've said we need to get rid of FEMA. So it's you're shutting down, the government's shutting down and FEMA's going away. Isn't that what you've wanted for 5 years?
Yeah, no one believes the Republicans when they say they just care about governance and they care about their people. The Republicans are willing to throw their own people in their own states into the wood chipper because, as I said, the Obamacare subsidies primarily flow to low-income red states. So it's they are throwing their own voters into the wood chipper here just because that's what Donald Trump wants, and it's so self-defeating.
But if you get the messaging right, George, they'll never know. You just blame it on the Democrats and keep moving.
Yeah, blame it on the Democrats. Yeah, it's the Reds under the bed.
Yeah, only this case it'll be the Reds not being able to get a bed in a hospital.
Reds being unable to get a medbed, which we'll talk about in a sec. So that's the state of the shutdown at the moment. The Trump administration has already fired over 200,000 federal workers because of Doge. They might fire tens of thousands more as a result of the shutdown. So
remember Doge? Fuck. I haven't thought about Doge in so long. And that was fucking taking a chainsaw to killing so many people globally.
Yeah. Well, USAID, the foreign aid sort of agency, development agency, is basically non-existent at the moment. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that protects consumers from financial fraud from banks and things like that is essentially not operational at the moment. So they have successfully gutted agencies that legislatively they're not allowed to gut, and there's only more to come. So I'm honestly worried about the American administrative state getting to a position where it's unable to function in its current form. And if they keep firing workers at this rate, this is where we're getting. We're getting to a kind of authoritarian state where Trump yells, "I am the Senate," execute Order 66. We're getting to that stage where it's if you remove all of the intelligent, capable people from all of their positions in all of the different facets of the government that help the government run. And the government, it's nearly 400 million people in the United States. It's a huge administrative state. If you get rid of all the expertise and the capability, all you're left with are fucking toadies and brown shirts that are happy to run things.
You've got a whole bunch of a whole administration full of big balls, and that's all you got. I think in the I am the Senate analogy, Trump is less Palpatine. I think he's more Jar Jar Binks, the making the final call of like he will kick off the thing that then brings down. We're not going to talk about.
We're not going to talk about the Jar Jar Binks conspiracy. We haven't the time. We simply have not. So that's top story. The other top story is the Trump
peace in the Middle East.
Yeah, well,
peace, like
peace.
Yeah, peace in the Middle East.
That's what they're calling it. So Donald Trump has announced his plan with Israel for a ceasefire in Gaza, a peace plan for Gaza. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to involve Hamas, which is the governing authority in Gaza. So I don't really know how that's going to go. Anyway, here's Trump talking about it, using words with his dumb face.
Countries that helped me put this together: Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and so many others. So many people fought so hard. This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down in concrete. Very importantly, I look forward to having the hostages come home to their parents and having some of the hostages, unfortunately, you know the condition they're in, come home likewise to their parents, because their parents wanted them just as much as though that young man or young woman were alive. So I just want to let you know that this is a very special day, maybe unprecedented in many ways. It is unprecedented, but thank you all, and thank you all to those great countries that helped. We were given a tremendous amount of help. Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East. And we're very close to achieving that. Thank you all, and everybody will be treated fairly.
Oh my God. Like,
just read the cue card, Donald. Someone's written it out already. Just read it off the fucking cue card. Don't improvise.
Yeah, is this off the
What
cuff?
number take was that? Was that a take number 3? Was that just a...
All right, and 3, 2, 1. Just read the fucking words on the card, Donald. And 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, stop.
Yeah,
cut. And just again, Donald. Just read the fucking cue cards. 3, 2, 1. Go, Donald.
Yeah, is this just off the cuff? Because you're behind the desk in the Oval Office. Like, there'll be a teleprompter. You don't have to... Don, you don't have to use your brain. I know you hate to do it because it doesn't work.
No one wants
you don't have to use it. Just do a Ron Burgundy, read whatever's on the cue card.
And as they say, go fuck yourself, San Diego.
So what he's talking about there is the US has, with these other countries allegedly, has put together this 20-point peace plan, which Israel have said, we're totally on board with this. And they gave Hamas like 4 days to respond or something. And Hamas have now come back and said through Qatar, we're keen to get involved. We still want to negotiate on a couple of points, but like...
You know, like how you normally sit down with two parties in a peace process and then you talk to both of them. That's kind of what we were thinking.
So they still want to have some negotiations. The key point that they're unclear on is because one of the points is Hamas will have to disarm.
They're basically saying Hamas cannot be part of the sort of governing coalition go forward. They need to lay down their arms. They need to basically do a complete unconditional surrender, which as a violent terroristic, sort of resistance group is not typically what they love to do. So
they have agreed though that apparently that they are happy to transition to a sort of neutral Palestinian body in Gaza. But as to whether or not they would get rid of their guns and stop existence in and of itself, it's unclear. There are some people within the organization that have said no.
And the thing is,
but obviously
with militia groups, all it takes is one fucking guy, one little splinter group to go, fuck this, never give up the fight, fires off a missile. And then Israel goes, great, it's fucking on like Donkey Kong. Let's go, baby. Like,
So now that's happening, and Trump has now tweeted it at Netanyahu, being like, "Okay, you guys have got to stop bombing now," and I guess we'll see if that actually happens, because this is what the
Spoiler
third
alert.
peace plan.
Spoiler alert. It won't.
How many peace plans are we up to now? 4 or something? I don't know. The last time this happened, Benjamin Netanyahu has found ways of.
He just found an excuse.
He finds ways of
oh my
bombing.
god, that baby looked at me funny. That's Hamas. Keep bombing.
Yeah.
I mean, the part about this that I find crazy, because, like, aside from the fact that you're only really talking to one party of, like, it takes.
Yeah, you don't do diplomacy with your friends. You do diplomacy with your enemies. That's the whole point.
Yeah, you have to do
the Good Friday
with
peace
both
accords in the UK. They had to sit down with the IRA and negotiate a peace plan, and it was a lengthy process, which it was the culmination of years and years of effort to try and bring the two parties to the table and find an equitable solution to stop the violence. This is incredibly complicated, and you can't do it by fiat. You can't fucking do diplomacy like this by tweet. It simply does not work.
Yeah. But I think the part of this, though, that I find the most deplorable and awful is that, like, even if, like, negotiations go ahead for, like, whether or not disarmament happens and all that, and they get the agreement and they implement the rest of the plan. Like, everyone's focusing, I feel, on, like, it's like Israel's agreed to stop bombing. Will Hamas come to the table, and is the killing going?
Which
to
is
stop?
the whole
And
point. This is the whole reason that they framed it like this, right? Like, is to Israel's the reasonable one coming to the table. They want to stop the killing, and Hamas is the one who wants the killing to continue.
Yeah.
It's like,
no, but let me get to the point. In that they'll stop the killing, because we've all been so focused on, like, the devastation, the tens of thousands of deaths that have occurred,
hundreds of thousands.
And being like, and
The
it's
Economist, yeah.
Well, yeah, and to be like, oh my god, it's over. Holy cow! Like, these 2 years of chaos is done. But then what they're implementing with the rest of this fucking 20-point plan is, like, setting up. I think they're calling it the Board of Peace, which is a bunch of people, like,
I forgot about the Board of Peace.
led by Tony Blair.
Tony motherfucking Blair.
People.
Absolutely loved in the Middle East.
Yeah. They're a huge fan of Tony Blair. But anyway, like,
oh my god,
people who may or may not include a single Palestinian, if they are qualified, was the qualifier, and they're like, what makes them qualified? And they just mumble away that part. But it's going to be a bunch of people who are all, like, property developers.
Yeah, we'll call it
the
British Middle East.
City.
We'll call it the British Middle East Company, and they can go in there and start developing.
Yeah, right. So obviously, like, because Gaza has been, like, reduced to rubble. Like, yes, development needs to happen to, like, rebuild infrastructure. I know that's a whole huge deal.
And that is part of the plan.
Developers need to be involved in that, right?
Sure.
But all these people they're bringing in, potentially with nobody who's Palestinian kind of involved.
But no discussion of who's going to pay for it.
Plan.
No discussion of who's going to pay. Israel's not going to pay for it. The United States certainly isn't going to pay for it. So they're relying on the Gulf Arab states to come in with all of this money to flood into Gaza to help build. It's just like it's not. I can't even describe it as a plan. It's a sketch. It's an outline of a plan that can never come to fruition.
Well,
these previous ceasefire deals, they only ever got to, like, step 2, and then the whole thing breaks down. You're never getting to step fucking 20. You know what I mean? Like, it simply will not happen, right?
No, but, like, my point was that this has always been part of the plan. Like, this doesn't finish. Like, this doesn't mean, like, oh my god, we've achieved it. Like, the for lack of a better phrasing, the Israel-Palestine problem is done. No, like, the really super hardcore far-right crazies in Israel, this has been the plan. I forget the guy's name, but he's one of, like, Netanyahu's
Ben Gvir or Yoav Gallant or one of those guys.
Yeah, not Ben Gvir. I forget who it was.
Smotrich, the Triforce of shitheads.
Smotrich is the one that had the interview recently that was like, we're going to fucking...
Is he the tall, thin guy? Like, he's sort of like a tall, lankier kind of guy?
No,
I forget his name.
Go with the beard.
Okay, I forget his name, but he was essentially like, so what we've been doing currently is stage 1. What I mean by what we're doing currently is the bombing. like is
and
this
that's
is
going
the
to help clear the
demolition
ground,
phase.
the demolition phase.
Yeah, this
Yes,
is
yeah,
the
I saw that.
demolition phase of any kind of construction project. You got to demolish
that
stuff.
was Smotrich. Yeah.
Smotrich, yeah, and then you got to start building on it. It's like, yeah, and this is what that looks like. They get like, because they're going, oh, we're going to redevelop, we're going to like build Gaza back up
Trump
again.
Gaza.
They're like, and Palestinians like, oh, you can stay if you want, or you can go, and there'll be an amnesty to come back. But
yeah.
my
That's,
god,
what's
yeah,
the
they're
word
just going,
when you
let's rebuild
cleanse
it.
an ethnicity out of a particular geographical area? I wonder if there's a phrase for that, some sort of ethnic cleansing, perhaps. I don't know if there's I don't know.
And then they rebuild it, and there's also details in the plan of like, we want to have like a police body that is of like Palestinians, but like only maybe in the future once we've trained them and vetted them. And also any Hamas people will be shown amnesty, providing they're willing to coexist with Israel. It's like, oh, it sounds like you want to turn it into the West Bank, like what the West Bank's like now, of just settling in the area illegally.
You stay pacified while we continue to break up the territory with settlements. Yeah, that's exactly what they're...
So while this is kind of being phrased as like the killing might stop and holy cow, peace in the Middle East, it's like, no, this is just stage 2 of the ethnic cleansing, genocide, colonization.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to
horrific.
argue with that characterization of it. It's there's no... The fact that Tony Blair, I just can't get my fucking head
I did
around
not
that.
expect to see that name.
He's done a bunch of like consulting for the Qataris and all this, fascist dictator Gulf states and things like that. But it's like, man, the guy who like was the number 2 in launching, the Desert Forever Wars with Bush, I understand he had a role in the Good Friday Accords with, finding peace with Ireland. And like, I'm not saying that the guy isn't experienced with diplomacy. I'm just saying, like, to get specifically Tony Blair involved just betrays, it's just completely masks off at this point. It's like, what? And Donald Trump's going to be the head of this board of peace. A little gentleman called, you may have heard of him, Donald J. Trump. He announces himself in the third person.
Yep.
It's going to be the head of the board of peace. It's just like, it really is like the fucking galactic empire saying like, we're instituting a, fucking, provisional government that we ourselves will control over the thing that we're controlling. It's just. Yeah. I don't know. I have no confidence that this is going to get up. And even if it does get up, I don't see it being to the benefit of anyone except the United States and Israel. So, it's bad.
Yeah, real bad. It's essentially, it seems like that AI video we talked about, like, was that a year ago? Was that 10 years ago? Everything feels like so long, but that AI video of like giant gold statue in Gaza Plaza. Here's Trump and Netanyahu in their Speedos by the pool.
Trump Gaza, number 1.
Yeah, like that, whatever the fuck that was. Yeah, essentially, like, the satire is coming true.
It's bad. So in the third most fascistic news of the day, Trump has said that ICE facilities are, quote, under siege from attack by Antifa, and he has sent in, the troops.
He says he's going to, right?
He has since. I mean, there are like National Guard troops and stuff. I don't know if he's sent in the military specifically, but there's definitely riot police and National Guard on the streets of Portland, Oregon, authorizing full force if necessary, unquote, to protect federal immigration facilities from domestic terrorists. Basically he's doing this thing where he picks a Democrat city who's pissing him off and then saying, let's send the troops in, law and order. He's done it with Washington, D.C. He's done it with Chicago. He's done it with Portland. What's the common thread between all these cities? They're strong democratic cities with diverse populations. And he's just saying, I'm the federal government. I am the Senate. I can fucking do what I want. Have a bunch of troops.
Portland's a weird one as well because it hasn't actually had really any real, apart from it was a centerpiece back in 2020 with the George Floyd stuff.
Sure.
However, in the last couple of years, it's like compared to some of the other areas where the protests have been happening around ICE facilities, Oregon's pretty quiet.
So the thing is,
crime is actually going down in Portland, Oregon, not up. So I don't know. It's almost like
So people were saying to
this
Trump,
perceived
hey,
bias that he
some of the
has.
clips that you're watching, the stuff that you're seeing on TV, that Fox News is showing and you're seeing on social media, those are clips from like the George Floyd 2020 protest where they set up like an amnesty zone, which was like a couple of blocks in the CBD, which was like completely kind of like ungoverned by the police. And it was like a whole right-wing talking point. And basically Trump's like, are you telling me that the things that I'm seeing on TV aren't real? And like, yes, Donald, that's exactly what we're that's exactly what we're telling you. You're watching protest footage from years ago.
Yeah.
That doesn't reflect the current state of things. There is no fucking Antifa takeover in the city of Portland. So either you're misinformed or you're just a liar. So I don't know. It's
almost.
It's kind of odd. It's almost like he's gotten to his own info space, or it's
he's in his own reality tunnel. Like he just has no fucking clue what's going on around anyone. Yeah, anything else.
And ironically,
he says a thing. Fox News starts reporting it out and buffing it up. He watches Fox News and goes, "Fuck this situation on Fox News is terrible," and then that's where he gets his information from. He's just like huffing his own farts. It's like Fox News. It's like an AI generated video reality tunnel for one audience member, and that's Donald Trump. Like.
The algorithm gives you what you need. And of course the ironic thing with this is that by basically labeling, and this is not the first time he's done this now over the last few weeks, it's becoming a common thread since Kirk. By labeling Antifa, who are an anti-fascist organization,
well, it's not an organization though. It's a movement.
Well, whatever they are,
it's a decentralized, patchwork of movements, right?
It's they haven't got
it's not like in Eddington where the Antifa super soldiers fly in on their private jet, to the city to take out, the right wing conspiracy guys. Like they don't exist as an organization. It's like it's a collection of movements, of nominally leftist movements that are anti-fascism.
Yeah, but I guess the point being by labeling them as terrorists and by labeling the anti-fascist group a terrorist organization,
which you can't do domestically, by the way. That's not a thing the government can do.
Trying to weed out the enemy within, quote unquote, you are in essence doing things that are inherently fascistic.
It's the Reds under the bed. I'm telling you, it's the Antifa super soldiers. It's the George Soros. They're militants. They're coming after us.
It's like they don't understand. Like they're trying to fight. Anyway, it's just the
man. All these anti-fascists are really being a pain in the ass. You know what we should do? Crack down on the anti-fascists. What does that make us? Are we the baddies? No, certainly not. Does that make us fascists then?
I can't.
Not a single moment of introspection in all of the fucking heads in this organization. Not a single brain cell bouncing around between the fucking lot of them.
Meanwhile, they get on various news outlets and complain that they're getting called fascists. It's like, well, it's because you're doing things.
Because you're doing all the fascist stuff.
Fascist things.
Yeah.
Although the Portland protests that I've seen against the ICE interventions have been the most Portland thing that I've ever seen. There was like a clip I saw with a guy with a tiny hand, like a little tiny puppet hand. He was kind of like waving it
on his finger.
Waving it in the face of one of the ICE troops and just like teasing him. And I was like, and one of the guys on the megaphone were going, "Oh yeah, probably didn't make use of those student debt payoffs for joining ICE. You guys don't seem like the college type." Like just kind of like teasing them and sort of making them back down. It was the most Portland thing I've ever seen. So funny.
Yeah, that's my kind of protest. Just be cheeky little shits.
Just be funny. The side that's having the most fun is typically the side that's winning, right? And they are getting ICE to back down and stop doing raids and things like that because they're interdicting them and making their lives difficult, not through violence, not through anger, but just like by making fun of them, by making them feel like the little dick pieces of shit that they are, right? Like that's how you win against these guys.
I just wish this article that we've got here from the ABC talking about it. I wish I had video of this because just seeing the journalists just started talking to residents of Portland who are like in their 70s, just being like, "What emergency?"
What's
like
happening?
they're quoting people who are like, a guy just be like, "I'm just down by the duck pond."
Yeah.
it's lovely. Like, what emergency are we talking about? Like, you saying there's bricks being thrown?
Where? Show me.
Yeah. This place is great.
Anyway, so...
What's a medbed, George, and why do I care about
medbed? Bro, the medbeds. I can't even... it's the craziest story I think I've ever talked about, except for the one following it and the ones that we had to talk about preceding it. But like... and the ones we mentioned last week and the week before.
Let's be quick about the medbeds.
All right. So medbeds are a thing that do not exist, to be clear. It's sort of a QAnon affiliated conspiracy where they think that the government and the medical establishment have got these magic beds filled with alien technology where you hop in the bed and it'll like regrow your limbs and cure your cancer and just kind of like fix, like in a video game.
Isn't this
when you walk up to
the plot of Elysium?
Elysium, yeah.
With Matt Damon. Like, isn't that what they're fighting over?
I haven't seen it, but I heard someone else made that exact comment.
The Batman villain Ra's al Ghul's Lazarus Pit.
Yeah, it's literally the Lazarus Pit from Batman. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So the idea is you go in and it completely heals you. It can de-age you. It's magic. And it's like in a video game where you go and get a full health pack and you're just completely healed. So these QAnon conspiracy fucking weirdos think that these things really exist and that the medical establishment is hiding them from the people for reasons, even though any company that invented such a thing would obviously immediately become the most valuable company in history for having cured all illnesses. But anyway, that's not the strange part. The strange part is that Donald Trump tweeted an AI video of him telling the American populace that this thing exists. So it's presented as a Fox News segment with his Laura Trump, is it his granddaughter or daughter-in-law, whatever she is to him. It's a completely AI generated clip of Donald Trump announcing
it or retweeted it.
He posted it on Truth Social and then it's been like tweeted out elsewhere. So Donald Trump is posting this. It's an AI clip of Donald Trump saying things that Donald Trump did not say, and then Donald Trump is taking that clip and I just want to grab the what is happening? What's happening? What is happening?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the clip, the fake AI clip of Donald Trump announcing a product which does not exist, which he knows he did not announce because he didn't announce it. Unless he forgot. Is he that far gone? I don't know.
Unless he thinks he did.
Here's the clip.
Breaking now. President Donald J. Trump has announced a historic new healthcare system, the launch of America's first Medbed hospitals and a national Medbed card for every citizen.
Every American will soon receive their own Medbed card. With it, you'll have guaranteed access to our new hospitals led by the top doctors in the nation, equipped with the most advanced technology in the world. These facilities are safe, modern, and designed to restore every citizen to full health and strength. This is the beginning of a new era in American healthcare.
In this first phase, only a limited number of Medbed cards will be released. Registration details will be announced very soon.
You can tell that's not real because he said that in a coherent and well-structured sentence. Like that, that's what that kind of announcement would sound like from anyone who isn't Donald Trump.
And it's a very big deal. And I just want to thank all the countries involved and such as, so that's not to be this guy, but if you had have told me 2 years ago, I feel like I could be the if you had have told me guy. If you had have told me 2 years ago that Donald Trump would be retweeting AI-generated videos of him saying things that he did not say about medical conspiracies that do not exist. I can't, like Fox News got upset for a whole week during the Obama administration because he saluted a Marine while holding a latte. One time he wore a tan suit. That was a whole week. And just to compare that, the Obama administration to this, it's just unhinged. Could you imagine if Joe Biden had tweeted, people would be like, oh, he's insane. We need to remove the 25th Amendment. No, they probably should have done that anyway because he was losing his mind. But it's like, besides the point. It's just, and it's not even
Did
the only.
did he put any context to when he retweeted it? Did he just go shared it?
He just shared it. Just truthed
He just
it.
posted it,
Yeah.
and it got
Maybe-
retruthed
The thing is-
1.1,000 times.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
but this video, the
thing that-
retweet of that video has been viewed 4.3 million times. So it's
they're talking about though as well. I mean, they say Medbed a lot, but like it really just does sound like they're just talking about hospitals. Like
whilst
you
they're cutting
go into
healthcare. What
you go
here's-
into a building, you lay down on a bed in a hospital.
Yeah, but
and
the
then you
bed.
get
Why do they
restored
need?
to full
But why
health.
do they need the top doctors in the world at these hospitals if the magic beds do all the work? What are the
That
doctors
just sounds
doing?
like it's a hospital.
Are they
I don't-
operating the beds?
Oh my god!
Absolutely crazy.
This is at the same time that they're cutting healthcare.
Oh, no.
Now, this was not the only AI video that Donald Trump tweeted this week or shared.
Oh, God.
This, so in relation to the government shutdown, he put together this fake video of Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and
Schumer.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and basically created this AI deepfake version of them talking. Now, for those who are not watching on the video, Hakeem Jeffries is wearing a cartoon sombrero hat and a big, like, cartoon Mexican mustache while this is all going. So this is a video that President Donald J. Trump tweeted, has 35.6 million views as of time of recording. I'm so sorry that I need to put this in your brain, but here it is.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
The mariachi music is just, it's so fucking crazy.
Yeah, the
Great replacement theory bullshit that they're...
Maybe they won't realize we're woke pieces of shit. Just gets me. Like, it's that the script is so... like, it's just so basic. Like, right-wing
written by a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah. Like...
But I have to stress this. Tweeted by the President of the United States.
Yes.
to all of his millions of followers. Like, that is a crazy fucking thing.
Yeah, this is posted by the official account of the US president with a profile photo of his angry face painted like the American flag.
Yeah.
And to be clear, just be very clear on this. Chuck Schumer did not say those
Yeah, to be
things.
clear, this is an AI-generated video. He didn't call himself a woke piece of shit, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And just the Hakeem Jeffries just standing there silently with with the sombrero. It's just, you have to see it. It's links in the show notes, obviously. And this is why you subscribe to the YouTube, so you can see the video. But just real crazy shit. And here we've got Hakeem Jeffries' response. So we'll just play that real quick.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
So there's a vision there of mariachi Donald Trump's, again, behind Hakeem Jeffries with a sombrero and and a fake mustache. He got us again. He got us again.
Hakeem Jeffries is of
he's mixed race, I think, or he's black.
Yeah, South American descent. So that's where the extra
he's not
like they're not just.
But he's not Mexican though.
He's not. Yeah. Well, I mean, even if he were, would that be better or worse? Wouldn't it be more racist if he was Mexican? I don't know. It's all bad.
I think it's I was gonna say I think it's more racist because he's not Mexican because you associate anyway. But
why is Donald Trump all of the mariachis behind him?
It is kind of funny, and this is where it's scary because it's all things that are in the fascist playbook.
Yeah,
you're otherizing your political opponents.
Yes, yeah.
And you're normalizing it through humor, and it's
This is why all the Pepe memes and all that sort of shit was so destructive. That's why it created a pipeline to the alt-right. Because 14-year-old boys would go, ha ha ha, that's funny memes, bro. And then they would engage with those memes, and then the algorithm would feed them more of those things, and then they ended up just becoming alt-right shitheads, right? Like, this is how it happens.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got JD Vance getting up there and being like, "Oh, it's just a joke, bro.
It's just a funny joke." Here's JD Vance.
Can't you take my racist joke?
Here's JD Vance saying some words about how it's so fucking cool and normal that the president is fucking tweeting this. What a piece of shit. This intellectual Zamboni fucking cleaning up after Trump. What a piece of shit this guy is, honestly.
So the president's been posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer.
I saw
recently. You've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but what message does that send? Is it helpful to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny.
I think it's funny. Yeah, for sure.
President's joking and we're having a good time. You can negotiate.
Having it so good. I'm loving this. I love it so much. Ha ha ha.
In good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the President of the United States about that.
Ha 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 ha, and the press corps laughing about it. What a bunch of fucking toadies. What a bunch of fucking suck-up shitheads.
The press corps has just been replaced completely with
with their
OAN,
toadies.
Fox News, because they don't like getting the tough questions. Holy cow! It's insane. Why didn't the forefathers have the foresight? Ironically, as forefathers, why did they not have the foresight to amend the Constitution with the president, commander-in-chief shall not shitpost on social media?
See, the thing, Tom, is that back in 1776, shitposts could only reload once every 60 seconds. So it's a completely different environment to what it is now. They didn't anticipate the trajectory, the growth, the Moore's law of fucking, rapidity of shitposting in the future, they're all such pricks. I hate this timeline. This is the worst fucking timeline. How do we get the worst one?
And also in this week, this is all within the space of
this is a week.
Days, either
My
way.
attention is shot. My eyes are bloodshot and red. I've been screaming into the void. My lungs hurt from screaming. What the fuck is happening? This is 1 week.
Also,
I have aged 3 weeks this week.
For a party that is definitely, and an administration that is definitely not a bunch of fascists, they did some stuff again, which is definitely not fascist, but a little bit. Anyway, Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump decided to do basically a big, meeting of all their military leaders. They got the Joint Chiefs, all the high-level generals.
Let's create a real designated survivor situation where we get all the top military brass in one location.
In one area.
In one space for a strike.
They got them all together in Quantico in Virginia on a base. And in which point, Pete Hegseth, who is now the Secretary for War, because, there is no Department of Defense anymore. It's the Department of
Well, the naming of the Department of Defense is legislated. You can't just turn that over, but they've changed the nickname to the Department of War, and that's what he's calling himself, Sec War now.
Sec War. So basically, I guess they had it's like a pep rally. It was literally like a American hype rally to sell the new name / I guess Pete Hegseth's primary thing, which is what he's been pushing since he got. Before he took this position, which is to remove woke from the military, I guess, is kind of what he's like. And throughout this, his speech, as well as Donald Trump's speech that came thereafter, there was some fucking batshit things that were said.
Yeah.
And we've got some highlights for you.
Yeah, highlights or lowlights, as the case may be.
When it comes to combat arms units, and there are many different stripes across our joint force, the era of politically correct, overly sensitive, don't hurt anyone's feelings leadership ends right now. For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons.
And if you look at that picture, too many people promoted for the wrong reasons. It is just an absolute. What is the collective noun for a field of white guys? I can spot.
There's about 4 or 5.
There's a woman. I can see the long hair there. There's one woman, and there's one black guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black guys. 6 black guys out of 100.
I believe
100 old fucking white guys.
Yeah, I believe the collective noun for a bunch of white guys is a podcast.
Yes, a podcast of white guys. Yeah. It's saying we're being too fucking woke promoting diversity, and it's just a field of white faces. It's fucking astounding.
Based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. It all starts with physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, so can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, I believe that was the Fourth Amendment. No fatties.
Yeah,
no,
Jesus
when I look at my generals, I just want to see hot, rippling abs. I want to see cum gutters. I want to see the most fuckable military you've ever seen in your life. That's who I want.
And that was like one part of it. The other.
Oh, there were so many parts. The bit when he says, to my message to our enemies is FAFO, which is the initials for fuck around and find out, said the Secretary of Defense out loud in a room where he knew it was being recorded. What the fuck is happening with this timeline? Get me out of the simulation, Elon. I want out. Hit the hard reset.
Hegseth is just such a dweeb.
What a cunt.
I say that.
He's such a cunt.
I say that as a massive nerd. You can see my companion cube plushie in the blur behind me.
From the Portal video games.
As a massive nerd. He is such a dweeb.
Oh,
he is so desperate to be cool and tough, and like he wants to be King Leonidas, and
he wants to be
just
a warrior leader.
Yeah, how much do you fucking bench, bro? No, like fucking nothing. I'm in my 70s and I've been a member of the military for 40 years. I don't bench shit anymore. I do strategy, dumb cunt. It's got nothing to do with how much you can fucking bench, you fucking thick piece of shit.
Since Hegseth, prior to Hegseth taking this role, his whole thing has been about exactly what he just was talking
about.
Warfighters. He wants to restore the warrior spirit to the thing. Now, look, there are certain portions of the internet and right wing sort of political commentators, as well as there's a lot of like former operator YouTubers out there, right? Some of which I follow. Sean Ryan being one of them.
We're in different parts of the algorithm. I'll tell you that much.
And it is so like, and some of the shit, like these guys, some of the people they have on to talk about things, it's so like on another whole nother info.
Just like rah, like dudes fighting kind of stuff, like Jocko Willink.
Well, just like, and a lot of stuff that Sean, not a lot of, but like a proportion of the stuff that Sean Ryan, for instance, has had on his channel has been Pete Hegseth or other people like him saying that, the military is going to shit. It's not like what it was back when we
hard men create soft times create bad times times create hard men.
Literally that kind of thought process.
And this is why I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
and a lot of what they talk about is, the fact that, well, not the fact, but their view that for some reason, Biden watered down the strength of the military, and they're no longer a hardcore fighting unit, which basically what that is.
Biden increased military funding. It is the largest, most powerful, most funded military in all of human history.
Not funding. They're talking about like the culture.
It's the pussification of the American military.
Which is basically just a bunch of dudes having their boy culture ruined, basically.
There's girls. I can't do it when there's girls watching.
The whole concept around DEI, and there's a wider conversation there around sort of what DEI is, but fundamentally, a lot of people just misunderstand it. But Pete Hegseth has been railing against it, and this concept that he wants to restore the warrior spirit to the United States military.
That's why they got rid of the joint, the Joint Chiefs of Staff guy. Why? Because he was a black guy who said something positive about the George Floyd protest, and they're like, "Fuck off, fuckity bye, see you later."
So, the other thing they were talking about in this whole rally was like, well, we're going to be more lethal. We're going to be more. We're going to be pivoting to be ready for war because we want to be. We want to be able to like prevent war by being ready to fight it, basically, which they're talking about deterrence. But
a good defense is a good offense.
But it is the kind of rally that you would see at other historical examples.
Yeah, I think I've seen this rally in black and white.
Yes, and in German.
And then Donald Trump got up afterwards and literally took lines out of particular leaders' playbooks.
Yeah, you can say it. He's echoing the kind of rhetoric of Himmler and
Hitler's rhetoric.
Yeah,
where they literally called out the enemy within.
Yes,
it's fucking terrifying. Like
this is the stuff.
Hex's rah 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 was like one thing.
Yeah.
Donald Trump getting up afterwards and basically saying we have to basically get the military to go in and like sort cities out.
To
fight the enemy within.
They was talking about practicing on cities like Portland, using the military to go to these cities to pacify the democratic populace as practice for other kinds of engagements, right? Like like all the stuff we talked about is crazy and ridiculous and silly. But this stuff, the stuff that he's doing with the Department of Justice, getting them to prosecute their political enemies, this is the really scary shit, right? And it's kind of like being treated as an aside. But like this is the start of something. When the Secretary of Defense, when the President, the chief, the leader of the armed forces, goes to the military and talks about cleansing the ranks. Like if we saw this speech in Spanish in a South American country, the United States would have already invaded to restore order. You know what I mean? Like this is the regime cleansing the ranks and making sure that they've only got loyalists in the military, creating paramilitary groups like ICE that are completely unaccountable. Like this is the thing. Yeah. This is not on the precipice of happening. It is happening. Like it is happening now.
Yeah, and the enemy that they're looking to purge, including like queer identities and all this sort of
anyone
stuff,
who's queer,
like
anyone who's brown, anyone
yeah.
who's a woman, you pick a particular group, you scapegoat them, you otherize them. The communists are the problem. The browns are the problem. The Mexicans are the problem. The Muslims are the problem. Like anyone who's not a straight white guy who benches 150 and jerks off to videos of Joe Rogan talking about Brazilian jiu-jitsu is the enemy. That's what they're telling you here.
Yeah.
And that always ends well. Historically.
Despite all the military spending, like, and they can do rallies like this. Like, it's not actually necessarily going to change the situation on the ground with, say, American shipbuilding, which will therefore change. Like, they're not making more ammunition, like, to actually fundamentally change.
Man, we're never
their
getting
position.
those submarines. We're never getting those fucking subs. Never going to happen.
Like, what they're doing is purely political.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, and that's kind of the bright line that administrations have always drawn between, the administration and the Department of Defense and the Justice Department is to like have that sort of, even if it is in name only, that separation between those powers. The civilian control of the military is the thing which defines a democratic governance, right?
Yeah.
Once you have political control of the military, that's where you get fucking juntas. That's where you get Burma. That's where you get, Greece in the 20th century. That's where you get fucking Mussolini. That is the key part of drawing a bright line between a democratic country and a political, an authoritarian dictatorship.
Yeah. It was very satisfying, though, the end of Hegseth's speech. I don't know if you guys saw this. A friend just sent me the clip.
Oh, where they were just like completely quiet. You could hear a pin drop in the room.
It's just delicious. Yeah, he ends on something that, in his head, he's like, oh, and this is the banger
big
mic
applause
drop,
line.
like end of this is the come on, Pete, this is when the erection peaks. Just hits the point of being like, because we are the Department of War or something.
Pause
and
for cheer.
He clearly pauses for the round of applause that just does not come. And neither did he. And then he walks off stage.
It is the only way he can come anymore. That is true.
It is so satisfying to watch it just not go down as hard as he hoped.
Well, that's the whole thing. They're military. They're meant to be impartial. They're not meant to fucking laugh and cheer and applaud and all this sort of stuff. And then Donald Trump in his speech goes, you're free to applaud. You're free to do whatever you want. You're free to walk out. Of course, there goes your rank in Korea if you do walk out. It's just like,
Yeah. But anyway, Pete Hegseth, is a colossal loser. I say that as a colossal loser.
You are so pitiful. Freaks. They're all such fucking freaks and losers.
It's so sad. Again, the Portal plushie, and I think he's pathetic.
Yeah.
He's so pathetic.
Yeah. I opened up my handheld computer and replaced the battery, and I'm doing a bunch of other PC mods. I'm a fucking nerd. And I'm looking at this guy going, what a nerd. What a fucking dipshit.
Yeah. I look at Pete Hegseth and I'm like, I would have stolen his lunch money. And I am the weediest nerd you'll ever meet.
So desperate to be hard.
I want to wedgie this guy.
Oh, God. Okay, so turning to our senior domestic fascism correspondent, Adam, can you tell us what Andrew Hastie is doing in Parliament this week?
Whoa. I don't know if you can put those two things together.
I don't know. Have you seen some of his fucking Facebook videos, Tom? This guy's out there. Andrew Hastie is fucking out there.
It's actually interesting because Andrew Hastie is a former officer within the Australian Army.
It's the same vibe.
He has said things about, for instance, women's roles in combat. Which
in the military,
In the military.
That's why I put this story after the Pete Hegseth one. We did this on purpose.
I see it. Oh, we did it on purpose. It's a segue. It's a segue. So the liberal liberals eating liberals when I say liberals, I mean capital L liberals here in Australia, the Liberal Party, the Conservative Party, post their massive election defeat is still ongoing. So obviously a few weeks ago we talked about Senator Price going back to the backbench. Andrew Hastie is the latest issue that Sussan Ley, who is the Liberal leader, is having to deal with. Now, Andrew Hastie has resigned his shadow ministry, which means he's actually giving up a small sort of pay stipend to be part of that shadow ministry.
Why would he do that?
Well, he's come out and said that he felt he had lost his leadership within the shadow Home Affairs role, and therefore there was no point really being part of the shadow ministry.
And so now that he's on the backbench, he could feel free to...
I've got to find his actual words, but talk about the issues that he wants to talk about.
Right,
is basically
for the purposes of challenging...
No, challenging. No.
Challenging Sussan Ley for the leadership?
Challenging. No. Look, he'd like to be leader at some point in the future. He has said that, but there'll be no challenging. There'll be no sniping.
Perhaps in the near future.
No.
Yeah. He certainly has aspirations to be the leader and has communicated that.
It's so funny because I literally think of Sussan Ley as the future former leader of the Liberal Party. Almost no one believes at this stage that she is going to be the person who takes the Liberal Party to the next election. And it makes complete sense that it would be a far right, borderline fascist like Andrew Hastie instead that would, taking up that role.
To be clear, I don't think Hastie's a borderline fascist, but he is...
He's a borderline fascist.
I don't know about that.
He has espoused the kind of far right rhetoric. Yes, it goes through this Australian lens, which is more moderated compared to the Americans. It's not masks off like the Americans are. But a lot of the things that he says echo the exact kind of points that we were just talking about with.
But he does want to lower immigration.
That's what I mean.
The key things.
It's more dog whistle. It's more coded, but we know what he fucking means.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's Andrew Hastie talking about it.
I received a letter from the opposition leader, Sussan Ley, outlining her expectations of me as the Shadow Minister for Home Affairs. In the letter, she made it clear that I would not be leading our response on immigration, nor developing our policy within the coalition. She also emphasised shadow cabinet solidarity as a convention, something I believe very deeply in. And as a consequence, I came to the judgment that I could no longer serve in the shadow cabinet. Yesterday, I called the leader. Yesterday morning, in fact, I informed her of my decision. It was a very friendly and respectful conversation. And here we are. So I'll move over to questions now.
Will you be challenging the leadership?
No, I won't be.
When you called, what was her response?
We had a friendly conversation, and I agreed that we would delay the announcement till 5 p.m. in good faith because she had a full workload here in Perth.
Amazing. First question right out the gate.
Yeah, because that's what everyone. That's what everyone knows. Everyone knows that's why he's doing this. You don't do this because you're not going to challenge for the leadership.
So generally, the way this will work, if people aren't familiar with Australian politics, it's federally, it's a 3-year election cycle. We're currently 6 months or something into.
Yeah, we're about five months in.
5 months.
No, it was May. It was back in May.
We're in the first year.
So generally, so about a year or 9 months out from the election, it will be when he will pivot. And they will do a spill. There might not be just him; there might be other people trying to spill. But at that point, I suspect about a year out from when an anticipated election is, that's when they will switch leaders, and that will then give them a sort of a runway of momentum and whatever fresh ideas they want.
And this is why you go to the back benches, so you don't have like work to do on the front bench, and you can go around gathering your forces of darkness like fucking Sauron, building up your army of orcs in the background, gazing into your palantir and fucking looking around and seeing what everyone else is doing. Is doing this transparently, I think, to go away and start building his opposition to Ley and whipping the numbers so he can mount a challenge at some point. I don't think there's any doubt of that, right?
And there would be people, senior power brokers within the Liberal Party that are probably going to help him with that, or that have potentially said to him, we will make you the kingmakers will make him king kind of thing.
And as we know, the Liberal Party, because it's been cleansed of the blue ribbon inner city Liberal seats, the moderates to a large extent, and the image that Sussan Ley is putting forward of the Liberal Party is nominally, at least in word, meant to be more centrist. That's what she's claiming. That's what she's advocating for. But we know the vast majority of the party room in the Liberal Party is not in support of that vision. They've gone along with it because they think it will help them electorally in the short term. That's not what they genuinely believe. Right? They are more aligned with the former Peter Dutton faction of hard right reactionary anti-immigration politics. And so Andrew Hastie, as an avatar of that kind of leadership, is much more palatable to them to Sussan Ley, who's bleeding relevance by the day. I mean, the only story that she's had has been about her trying to draw a line on Gaza by siding with the less popular position.
Yeah.
That's the only time she's grabbed any headlines in the last 6 months, right?
So they also haven't actually nailed down any policy decisions. The reason why this is a thing is that they haven't actually got an immigration policy, and so they're trying to develop one, I would say,
they're trying to say that our energy policy is going to be more modern. We're not doing the nuclear thing anymore, but that's still dividing the coalition.
So they've got nothing to actually campaign on at this stage, or to push for, or to be in opposition for, because they have no sort of grounding. They haven't. Yeah.
Granted, you wouldn't expect 2.5 years out from an election an opposition party to be announcing policies, but they do say no to stuff, right? When the government takes a stand on something that they don't like, they'll say no to it. That's typically the response. And I'm not, aside from the Gaza thing, I'm not really seeing any loud, effective communication from the Ley shadow government in waiting to suggest that they, differ substantively from the Labor government on any major pieces of policy, right? So this is his attempt, I think, to wrest the control of the narrative back and tilt the party in the more far right direction that the majority of their their members want, the members of parliament.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess watch that space because Libs bill maybe in future, and they're always juicy to watch.
It's so funny when they're like, "Do you want to challenge the leadership?" And he goes, "Just no." Next question. Like it's just like he stopped short of uttering the death knell phrase, which is the leader has my full support. Because that's how you know they're really going to challenge.
Has he said that yet?
No, not yet. Pending.
As soon as they say that, you know they're fucked.
The leader has my full support. I know you all hate them, but they have my full support. Yeah, that's how you know he's going after it when he says that.
Oh, because he did say, there was a quote here of him saying, like, I want to give her the clear air and the opportunity to build a policy platform for the 2028 election. There's no challenge to Sussan. I support Sussan and tried to do this in good faith, and here we are. So, I support
pretty close.
Sussan. He's just dipping his toes in the playbook. What step is this, Adam, in your list of
political revival steps? Yeah.
Step 8. So I just closed it actually, but basically there's a little, I think it's a 12-point plan that I wrote out, which is how to die and be revived politically, which I wrote many years ago, which seems to keep coming true.
Evergreen content right there.
This is more kind of when you say something silly or do something silly and you end up back, you resign from your ministership and you end up back in the leader role at some point. But so step 8 is, step 7, sorry. Or it's step 7. Resign from your ministership and proceed to the backbench because it looks bad in the papers for whatever reason. And if the matter goes away, wait a year and then proceed to step 12. Step 12 being get made minister again because your party is full of fuck ups and this is the 10th reshuffle they've had.
Yeah.
Then step 13, politically stab and fight your way back into a position of holding the balance of power in the party. Launch a leadership spill and take back what is rightfully yours, and any past transgressions are forgotten. So
we're in the middle of step 11, step 12 and 13 to come shortly.
Speaking about coming shortly, this next story involves pornography. I don't know, that segue wasn't perfect.
Go over to our senior digital jizz correspondent, Tom.
That's a title I wear with pride. It
all
came out
over
this
your
week.
chest.
Yeah. It's a real no, I can't go that far. In the UK, we've talked about this a bit. In the United Kingdom, recently they introduced some similar to what Australia has been gearing up to do with their social media ban of people under 16. The UK has rolled out laws where websites need to have better age verification processes, often involving uploading like an identity document or your credit card details or something to show proof of age.
Particularly with regard to adult websites.
Well, yeah, and that kicked in July. I found it interesting, actually, while I was in the UK in August for a bit, just seeing, like, whenever I visited any website, or I know the EU sort of stuff popping up of, like, cookies and you're allowing to not be tracked and all that sort of stuff.
GDPR requirements and stuff.
Yeah, it was, like, way more prevalent. It was like, oh, this is what the internet's like on the other side of the world. But what's changed this week is that some stats have come out since that has rolled out in July to show that the traffic for pornography websites in the UK has plummeted by around 50%. So based on their metrics, Pornhub, which this article attributes as the UK's most visited pornography site, experienced a nearly 50% drop in traffic, which equates to about 1 million users.
Don't worry, Tom. Look, don't worry. The UK happens to a lot of countries.
Yeah. They've all gone a bit flaccid. Xvideos has as well, down about 47% in that same period. So while a lot of the people who kind of touted these laws and all that will be taking this as a bit of a win, being like, see, it's working. The children are no longer viewing like violent, hardcore pornography, which is legitimately, like, as a side, I think a problem in the, all the problems that
for young
they have
kids,
with like kids. Yeah, with like kids harming each other by trying to emulate like pornographic material without the education of sort of understanding like these are trained professionals or they are like it's fantasy, it's different. You can't just the old lesson of don't do what you see on TV. That is a legit concern, but
that's
I personally feel this isn't the solution.
I don't know. I think that's a conversation parents need to have with their kids. Like when you see
and schools,
and
fucking
Bruce Wayne jumping off a rooftop, you turn to your kid and you go, "Hey, just so you know, that's pretend. That's not real." You have the same conversation with them about porn to say, "Hey, it's the internet. You're going to encounter porn. What you'll see is not real life. That is not a real sexual relationship that you're watching. It's entertainment."
In 13 to 15 years, when you're sitting on the couch watching pornography with your son, you can turn to him and say, like, no,
the porn
don't
with
do
your kid.
that. This is not real.
I'm just saying you have a conversation with your children, okay? That's what you do, okay? You have a conversation about what's appropriate in terms of the things that they're going to encounter in the media. Yes, I will watch Batman with my kids. No, unlike Mike Johnson, I will not sit down and watch porn with my son.
But I think 100%. I think like the concerns that it's where like what I'm trying to head off here is like people who criticize these are often met with like, oh, so you just think it's okay for kids to see XYZ like Backdoor Sluts 9 or whatever, and like
if you like Backdoor Sluts 8,
like
you're gonna love Backdoor Sluts 9.
Yeah, it's like no. Yeah, I think it's a legit concern, but this isn't the way. I think the way to do it. And what bothers me with this. There's two elements here because while yes they're touting Pornhub lost 50% of traffic, so they're going like
mysteriously the VPN server hosted in Poland received a corresponding 50% increase in server traffic. I noticed.
Yeah, they do kind of bury a bit further down in this article here where they're like downloads and like sales of VPN services rose significantly. So maybe they didn't get a drop in traffic that you think.
I wonder to what that can be attributed.
Yeah, maybe the people who struggle to switch from HDMI 1 to HDMI 2 on their TV don't understand that the kids are fully aware of how to set up a VPN and mask their traffic.
Guys,
sort of stuff.
Correlation doesn't equal causation, okay? There's just two random things happening.
Completely separate.
Apparent reasons.
completely separate
And the
things.
thing is, like some will like the big websites that are forced to be compliant because they're massive players like whatever Pornhub and Xvideo and that sort of stuff will institute these controls. But there are websites that are hosted elsewhere which will refuse to comply, and there's nothing that they can do about it. So all you're doing is then driving that same traffic to websites which don't abide by the same levels of controls. It's just it doesn't do what they. And also like unpopular opinion.
Who could potentially be much sketchier.
Yeah, exactly. Unpopular opinion. I think kids are allowed to wank. If you're a 17-year-old boy, it's not like breaking your brain to watch porn. There's a very puritanical element to this that I don't like, where it's like, I agree, 12, 13-year-olds should not have access to porn. It's too young. Their brains are not, they haven't got the context to understand what exactly it is and what it means, right? Good luck stopping any 17-year-old boy from jacking it. Like, it's just, I don't know. There's something about it which seems very puritanical, very anti-sex, very.
I know they're allowed to jack it, George. They just have to use their mind's
their
eye
imagination.
like everyone else. You need to squint at things until they look like boobs.
You gotta, hop on Instagram and follow girls that have OnlyFans pages, but you don't go on the OnlyFans pages. They're just promoting the OnlyFans pages on Instagram.
Yeah, because then you'll get a fantastic career in marketing because you're seeing what the marketing is, and it also excites you in ways that you don't quite yet understand. So I agree, George. I think popular opinion: let the kids wank, let them wank,
let them have wank.
It's not hurting anybody, but what is hurting people, which is what they'll talk about, which they always bring up, is people trying to emulate things that they do not understand or are not equipped for. There's really grisly details in there that I'm skipping over.
In the documentary series Social Studies, follows a bunch of American teenagers who have grown up with social media and the effects that it's having on them. And one of the episodes is about porn and how some of them feel compelled to perform sexual acts that they're not comfortable with. There's been a real rise in choking and those sorts of behaviors that you see a lot in sort of violent hardcore porn that there's translating to, sort of the teenage experience. Obviously that's not good. But I don't like sexuality and people's ability to explore their sexuality and understand their sexuality. Like, I don't know, to me, it's kind of like drinking. It's like, we really expect people to not drink a drop until they turn 18, and then we're just going to set them loose on the pubs and hope a bunch of people don't get fucking king hit as a result. You know, it's like, no, you need to have
same with driving as
a transition
well. Like,
period. You need to have education. You need to provide context. You need to understand what this thing is under controlled conditions before you just fucking let people loose on society at 18, horned up, drunk, and ready to experience a world full of porn. Like, it's, I don't know. It seems like a very puritanical kind of like, this is something
education is always the best policy.
Yeah, this is something they've, you know, these groups have always wanted to do, is to shut down people's access to porn and other things that they deem as being socially negative. And now it's coming out, it's manifesting this itself in this like, oh, we're just trying to protect the children. That's where it always comes from, right?
Yeah, well, these age verification technologies are coming to Australia and will be live, I think, by March next year. Or I made that date up.
December 10 is when
is the cutoff for the social media stuff.
At least the social media stuff have to say what they're doing, and then I guess goes from there. But speaking of the Australia thing, our safety commissioner, was it our safety commissioner who said this?
Gillian McGrath.
Yeah, so no, sorry. No, sorry, I'm thinking of someone else. This is Hannah Swirsky, who's like a policy and public affairs person at a group called the Internet Watch Foundation, that, you know, does stuff of aiming to stop online child sex exploitation, like not-for-profit kind of place. But an analogy that she made in this that I thought was a bit galling was to, you know, in response to the other concerns of like, well, okay, so you're doing this to stop children doing whatever, but then for anyone, adults trying to partake in pornographic sort of
things
stuff
that
online,
they are legally allowed to participate in,
legally allowed to do, and are adults and whatever. So then what, we have to hand over like our government IDs to Pornhub and stuff, like concerns around that.
Yeah, and let's create a honeypot. Let's create a honeypot at fucking Pornhub that hackers will want to be able to get into to steal your identity.
But yeah, so the analogy that she makes there is saying, like, you know, it's the same as if, you know, you want to walk into a pub, you got to show ID. To which I'd say, no, it's not, because usually a big burly guy looks at my ID, goes, all right, you're old enough, hands my ID back and walks back in.
Yeah, they don't keep your ID.
His brain has not like recorded my ID that then someone can access through the internet to steal it. Like, yeah, it's totally different. Like that. No, that's not a good comparison.
Or generate a pub database, you know, to say that Tom had a drink on the 12th. You know, like not. I don't know. There's part of this which really strikes me as very 1984 fucking control. I mean, yeah.
Like, given all the, like, you know, we talked about it at length, like when Optus was hacked and when like healthcare companies are hacked, when we
anytime you create a digital database, the timer starts ticking down from when that database is going to be hacked, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think a lot of these age verification, what they're sort of moving towards now, are tokenized verification. So you do upload it, but the information is you get a token, you get a tick.
But then provide information on that.
And then the information is deleted. But yeah, the detail
we're theorizing there. We haven't been provided evidence that that's what's happening, that they're going to provide a hashed ID that goes to a government agency and gets approved and then deleted. If that's the case, I would be more comfortable with it. But we don't know that that's what's happening. They're just saying you're going to have to upload your ID or scan your face.
Yeah.
Which is even worse as far as I'm concerned.
Like, yeah, then there's all the weird concerns of like, yeah, even if it is teenagers accessing it, like, I don't know, people accessing pornography for their sexuality that they're not publicly disclosing to other people, like queer kids, like all that sort of stuff. Like, yeah, great. Like, let's out people digitally just for the sake of, oh, please think of the children. Like, yeah, it's fucked.
No way this could go wrong.
No way at all. Speaking of things going wrong, we have and always will be Unnatural Selection. We're very wrong most of the time, so I thought that was kind of...
provided 90 minutes of us being wrong. And if you don't like it, or if you do like it, go to your podcatcher of choice and rate us.
Especially if you don't like it.
No, especially if you do like us. 5 stars only, please. It only goes to 5 stars. On that note, we have been, we are, and we always will be Unnatural Selection. Make sure you visit us at our Salubres, home on the web, unnaturalshow.com. Make sure you follow us on all the bullshit social media that have, do, or ever will exist at our handle at Unnatural Show. That's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and mother flipping TikTok. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at George Tsipos.
You can follow me on Threads at tom.heath.
And you can't follow me because I don't have an online presence.
Because I don't exist. Unless you want to wank. In which case, you're on the grid. You're on the grid if you want to wank.
Surely they can follow your handle on Pornhub, Adam.
I don't have a handle on Pornhub, Tom. And if I did, you wouldn't know about it.
I'll never tell. Posh Puppy 69.
Yeah, we know.
Thanks for listening, guys. Love your faces. We'll see you next week. Am I going to have to create a Pornhub account now? Dear God.
Yeah. Got to use a burner email, though. You can't use your real email.
I'll use the Unnatural Selection. Unnatural Selection Show at gmail.com. Boy, this Unnatural Selection guy's real horny.
Yeah, you're gonna share that login, right?